You're welcome back, and you're still watching Newsnight. We're live from Nigeria's capital in Abuja. And talking about Nigeria, about 53.40% of youths are unemployed. That's according to youth unemployment rates released by the National Bureau of Statistics in 2022. The figure is not looking much different between then and now. Many have argued that the rising figure of unemployed youths is partly responsible for the insecurity and rising crime rates. The present administration has promised to create jobs, especially in the information communication technology sector. And no doubt the executive will need the necessary legislative support to help achieve the plan of providing employment for the youth. What can the legislative arm of government do to help in this drive? Let's have this conversation with the Chairman, House of Representatives Standing Committee on Youth Development, Martin Esin. Very warm welcome to Newsnight. So tell us more. I mean, very alarming unemployment rates, amongst Nigerian youths. And even in the midst of this, we find that legislators, you want to buy 160 million naira cars to each member of the National Assembly when the youths are roaming the streets,
Okay, thank you for having me. I just want to say that the youth unemployment data released by the National Bureau of Statistics is quite alarming. But I bring you rays of hope, and I'm saying that from the parliamentary perspective, part of the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives is youth inclusion, okay? And we are going to be building on that to see that we develop our youth, because the youth of this country today are in a SOS situation, save our souls or save our ships. So it is an emergency situation, but I like to tweak the SOS models to say that we can actually have an opportunity if we convert the SOS to become skills, opportunities, and support for our youth. So we are going to be giving the necessary support to the executive to see that the youth of this country are better for it.
Well, there isn't any doubt that Nigerians can write brilliant theses, churn out policies that can accelerate development, youth growth, and the rest. Are there specific areas, because we know that there is a dearth of, artisans in Nigeria? Where are the plumbers? Where are the Freemasons? That is, the bricklayers, the builders, and the rest. They're immigrating. Like for Canada, for example, if they get 2 million of those artisans, it will be great for them. But we are retrogressing in that skill area. Why?
I agree with you. I think we just need to look more into skill development in this country. Over the years, a lot of our youths have been dependent on white-collar jobs, and I like to say that those white-collar jobs are no longer available as it were, and we need to...
because of the bad economy.
So we need to look...
So aren't you going to think of how to revive the industries instead of lifting restrictions on 43 items that can be produced? I know the House of Representatives has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to come and explain that, because that, again, I shouldn't be helping to answer the question, right? Answer that question.
Okay, I think I started by saying we're in an SOS situation, we're in an emergency situation, and we need to do out-of-the-box stuff. We need to do things differently. We need to save the situation very, very fast, for that matter, because there's a growing army of unemployed youth in this country. And,
like a time bomb?
Like a time bomb waiting to explode, and God forbid that kind of explosion will happen. That is why the 10th House of Representatives were trying to look away from paid employment now to talk about skills development. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about leadership.
Is everybody
for-
going to be
for
a
the
trader
youth.
if one wants to understand entrepreneurship? We must, the whole Nigerians become traders?
No, all Nigerians must not become traders, but that can also help to save the situation. It can help to take some people off the job market. Okay.
Like the 8,000 naira that government is going to share to 12 million households, right?
No,
That
no.
should be able to take Nigerians.
No, not a situation of 8,000 naira now. We're talking about a very, very, of course, 8,000 naira in this economy can barely take you to your house. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about why can't we have skill development centers in each of the geopolitical zones in this country? Those are the kind of conversations that we should be having now. If unpaid employment has failed us, that is what we should be talking about. Entrepreneurship. Where are our mentorship values? Because even the education that we are talking about, that people rely to do the paid unemployment, what kind of graduates are we churning out from the universities now? So it is a crisis situation. It is a very, very big challenge we have in our hands, and we just need to rise up to the occasion. So we are looking at skills development, like I said. Imagine a situation of having these centers across the geopolitical zones. That alone can help to calm down. Okay, and our youth need to look at entrepreneurship. Everybody cannot wear a shirt and tie and work in marina and in all of these places. Okay, so entrepreneurship, that has to start with mentorship. Okay, and then skills. I keep talking about skills because that is where we. Can you imagine a situation where in this country now the artisans that do plastering, as little as plastering, we say the best people who do plastering artisans are from Togo. Why should that be?
Benin.
Now you see somebody wants to build a house, you are looking for Togolese to come and do tiling for you. Why should that be? When our youth in this country are doing very, very well in the entertainment industry, okay, and all of that. So I think we need to look inwards and intentionally, the emphasis there is intentionality to develop our youth. And this is what the 10th House of Representatives stands for. We are going to be doing a youth responsive budgeting. We have not been having that in this country, and thank God for the first time we have the Ministry of Youth as a standalone ministry. Previously, it was usually merged with the Ministry of Sport. So now that we have the Ministry of Youth as a standalone, and what is the takeaway there? We have two ministers to man that ministry. It means that we need to direct a lot of programs to that ministry. So our budgeting, in a couple of weeks now, the President will be bringing the appropriation bill to the National Assembly, and part of what we want to do as a committee, specifically our committee, the Committee on Youth Development, is to see how we x-ray that appropriation bill, to see what is in that bill for the youth, and it must be youth responsive. I think that is one of the ways to get out of this.
Are you going to use sports too as an instrument again to develop the youth? Because I remember during my times, the likes of Henry Nwosu was about 17 when he started playing for the Green Eagles of Nigeria. In fact, he was playing for the age grade Junior Eagles and simultaneously the Green Eagles and the rest. He had the likes of Paulo Coco and the rest. You know, football, sports generally, as a mass weapon to lift youth off the streets, off poverty and the rest.
Yes, intentionality. Yes, we're looking at sports. Of course, we must look at sports, and part of the skills I'm talking about, I think these days you train people and develop them to be very good footballers. Okay, and
athletes,
we need to
people who can play top tennis and the rest. So we don't limit it to just football. Yeah, right.
So we need to allow these youth to take their destinies in their hands. The family where I come from, I come from the Esin's family in Oron. Esin, you and I know, was a very great footballer in this country. Esin is my cousin. And from the time Esin started playing football up till now, nobody in the family has been able to beat his records in terms of popularity. So this is what skills can bring to the table. Okay, the Davidos of this world, the Wizkids of this world, they didn't take any employment letter to any organization to seek for employment. So we need to allow our youth, and the good thing is that the youth of this country are so talented. That is not in doubt. This is what the entire world has come to reckon with, that the youths of Nigeria are talented. So why don't we intentionally allow them? And this is a demography that contributes 60% to the Nigerian population. And I like to say that if you have 60% of your resources in a particular bank, for instance, you are very interested in what is happening in that bank day in, day out. So I think the government needs to be very intentional in developing the youth. And it is skills, it is entrepreneurship, it is access to education, it is leadership, and it is inclusion. That is the way to go. That is what the 10th House of Representatives will be standing to look out for.
Access to finance is the most difficult one, for the youth, startup businesses and the rest.
Of course.
So how are you going to make that a legislative instrument for the executive to be able to give good startups, where when you hear of all those trader money and the rest, you don't even buy a basket of tomatoes, right?
Yeah. So we need to be intentional. Obviously, everybody will not come out of it at the same time, okay? But we need to do it intentionally. We need to be gradual, and we need to identify areas where we want to develop our youth, and not just identifying it. We need to also evaluate this. We need to have a plan to say, okay, we want to lift 10 million youths out of poverty. Okay, we need to get 10 million youths trained, and that's the way to go. I'm sure we are going to get it right once we are very, very intentional about developing our youth.
Thank you so very much. No better place to draw the curtains on this discussion. Honorable Martin Esin, Chairman, Committee on Youth Development. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Night.